The goose won't know the difference. Maybe they're gender fluid. I don't know their business. Purely delusion. Hello and welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel. And Rachel Maxey, your other favorite redheaded Rachel on YouTube, has a series on her channel called Butt Make It Vintage, which she lovingly refers to as Butt Naked Vintage. And I love watching that series. I love seeing her creativity and the spin that she puts on things. So I thought I could start a similar series here on my channel called Butt Make It Crochet, but then I didn't want to invite the butt naked comparison, so I thought we would call it Let's Make It Crochet. And the concept is simple. We take something that's not crochet and we make it crochet. So for the first episode in this series, I am going to be doing my spin on the Porch Goose trend. I don't know if you've seen this trend, and I honestly don't know if this trend is already not trendy. By the time I decide to hop on a trend, it is usually already out of date, which that's okay. But the Porch Goose trend is basically just exactly what it sounds like. It is a goose that you put on your porch. It is kind of like a lawn ornament, but instead people put it on their porch and they decorate it for different seasons. It seems to be something that was popular back in the 70s and 80s, and now people are bringing it back. So I thought for today's video, I could crochet myself a porch goose. Is this completely impractical? Yes. Would it have been cheaper for me to just buy a porch goose instead of buying all the yarn to make one? Again, yes. But you know what? We're going to do it anyway. So I am looking on my computer here, and you can buy a Porch Goose, a 23-inch one. There are some different sizes. We are going to try to make ours 23 inches as well. You can buy one for $39.99. And I actually just did the math, and that's about exactly what I paid for 3 skeins of burnout blanket that we're going to need to make this. Now, the original version, if you look at it, does have a little bit of green underneath to provide a little bit of support, which I do have some green back here on my shelf. So if we do need it, I already have that. I don't know if I'm going to include that part or not. I am going to try to get this to stand up on its own. I'm going to try to put some sort of support on the inside of this, and then maybe also use some sort of beads or something in the bottom. But to do that, we may end up needing to use the green yarn and make the little support section. I don't know, but we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm just going to be freehanding this. Let's just dive in. I'm really excited about this. I get all ready to film, get everything set up, and then it starts absolutely storming outside. So I apologize if you can hear that, but I feel like most of the time I say that and you can't actually hear anything. My microphone doesn't pick it up, but I feel like today I'm probably not going to be able to get through this clip without at least a little bit of thunder. Perfect timing. Okay, so here is how far I got on my Porch Goose yesterday, just the head and the neck. And I do feel like it's a little bit more like bobble-headed, like big-headed than the original, but that's okay because this is my take on the Porch Goose trend. I'm going to make it in my style, which I do usually like making my plushies with like a big, huge head. So that is what we have so far. So the next step is going to be to add the body, which I'm going to basically start here and then go all the way out to the tail that direction. That's the plan. Now, fun fact, whenever I ordered this bundle of yarn, instead of getting the gold burnout blanket, they randomly sent me this sock yarn. And they did send the replacement really quickly and everything. But they told me to just keep the yarn that they accidentally sent. I have no idea what to do with this though, because I'm not really a sock maker. I've never made crocheted socks before. I don't really have that much interest in making crochet socks, but I thought we could maybe make him a little sweater out of this, which I feel like I forgot to talk about that yesterday. But one of the most exciting parts of the Porch Goose trend for me is that people decorate it for different seasons. So of course, we are also going to be making this guy a little outfit today as well. But I feel like this is not really the vibe for what I want to go for, especially because right now it's June, which I feel like as you're seeing this, it's going to be the end of June. But right now, it's actually not even June 1st yet, but we are preparing for June, which is Pride Month. And so I think I want to give him some sort of rainbow outfit, but let me know what you would do with this yarn. Would it be completely unhinged of me to do a Will It On Me video with this yarn? Should I just make my Porch Goose some socks? I don't know. Let me know what you would do with this random bit of yarn. I mean, it's kind of cool looking, but I have no idea what to do with it. So anyway, we are going to go ahead and get started on the body. I am hoping to get quite a bit of this done today. We will see. Okay, well, welcome to my front porch. I don't think I've ever filmed out here before, but it only seems fitting considering we are making a video about a porch goose to film on the porch. Also, I apologize if the audio is terrible. It is a little bit windy. There's kids playing at the park. There's birds chirping. There's road sounds, but we are just rolling with it. I also feel super awkward filming out here where people can see me, but it's just you and me. I'm just gonna pretend it's just you and me. So I figured as part of this video that I could spruce up this porch at least a little bit. Right now, it's just super boring. There's nothing out here except for this bench that came with the house. It was just here. And there's like one chair, a couple of little stands, and that's it. But before we get to any of the sprucing up, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on my Porch Goose. So originally, I was going to make the body going in this direction, like that. But no matter what I did to get it the height that I wanted, it's just like too wide. I think that looks a little weird. So I decided to instead have it go this way. So this will be the tail. All the way over here will be the head. So it'll be like this. Does that make sense? But it's not quite tall enough yet. I do want to make it a little bit taller. And then I also might do some decreases, at least on this side, to make it look more like a tail. So that is the plan. So I had to abruptly stop filming and switch to handheld mode here because there were some little kids and of course their parents playing out in this big puddle. Is literally right outside my house, and I felt super awkward, so I just turned off the camera really quick. But that was basically the update that I wanted to give you on the Porch Goose. I am going to keep working on him, but in the meantime, we are going to spruce up this porch just a little bit because, like I said, it is super duper boring. I feel like I decorate it for other things, like for fall and for Christmas, but for summer, I'm like, how do you even decorate? So I did go out just a little bit ago to try to find some things to spruce up the porch. I didn't have a lot of luck. The only things I ended up buying were 2 of these cute pillows, these outdoor pillows from Goodwill. They're only $3 and these are huge. The only decoration I currently have on this porch is this one sole pillow that has not blown away yet. So I don't really like spending a ton of money on pillows because I forget to bring them inside when it storms and they end up blowing away. And then the only other thing I bought were a couple of these little citronella candles. I don't know if they actually help get rid of mosquitoes, but they smell good and these are really cute. So I bought a couple of those. And then everything else is just going to be things from my house. I'm bringing a lot of my house plants from inside and putting them out here. Hopefully, again, I remember to bring them inside when it storms because I have lost some plants that way. I was going to buy some flowers, but tell me why all of the flowers are so expensive. And even all the house plants were really expensive too. It's been a while since I bought any plants and I feel like they've gotten so much more expensive. It was like $25 for just a basic pot of flowers that didn't even really look that good, to be honest. So I didn't buy any. So let's just go ahead and work with what we have and make this porch look a little bit nicer. at least a little bit. It is definitely looking much more homey out here. I think I'm going to put the Porch Goose right there in between the two plants. I think it's gonna look really cute. I do need to do some sweeping and I need to kill some weeds, but I'm not gonna do that today. I am going to get back to work on my Porch Goose. I have to finish the body, make some wings and feet, and then we'll have to figure out how to put it all together. And then we have to make him an outfit. We still have so much to do. I was saying that as if it was not that much to do, but we still have a lot to get done for this Porch Goose. So I better get back to work. Hello, you guys. It is several days later. We had to have some floors in our house replaced because we had some flooding a while back. And so I have not been able to film, but in the meantime, I did finish the head as I showed you, and I did finish the body. But I am concerned that the head is a little bit more wibbly wobbly than I would prefer. So I have some dowels, and we are going to put these in here. Let's go ahead and start doing that to see if maybe this provides a little bit more support. I don't know if I maybe should have done this sooner before I stuffed it. I've never actually used dowels before inside of my plushies, but we're gonna try this out. Let's put a couple of them in there and see. Oh yeah, that's way better. Way less, like it still moves a little bit, but it's not like flopping. So that's pretty good, I think. So the next step will be to sew this together, and then we can work on the rest of the details of him. It is now actually officially June as I'm filming this, and so I want to get this done and get his little pride outfit made so I can put him on the porch. So I need to get a move on this project, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sew him together, and then we're gonna work on the wings and the beak and the feet. Hello, you guys. It is the next day, and our Porch Goose, as you can see, is done, kind of. So the reason I sound so hesitant is because I'm really not 100% sure that I like this green stand here. So me thinking that I could make this without the stand and just with the feet was purely delusion. I don't know what I was thinking. I really thought that I could make it work, but I couldn't. It just was not working no matter what I did. I tried sewing the feet in different places. I tried putting the dowels in there. Nothing was working. So I did end up making this little stand, but it is just not as sturdy as it probably needs to be, especially for sitting outside like he's going to and the wind blowing and whatnot. I think that if I were just to set this on a shelf, totally fine. But outside, I don't know. But my problem is now that I have sewed this on to the feet like this, if I were to redo it, I'd also have to redo the feet because I think if I tried to frog it here, it would leave the feet looking all funky. And to be honest with you, I just don't think I have the time to fix both the stand and the feet. I could possibly just add a little bit more back here just to make that a little bit more sturdy, which I may do eventually. We will see. Other than that, though, I really do like the way he looks. And I actually think that the green is kind of cute. It does bring in the element of that original goose. There are some proportion issues that I'm not in love with, but we will get to all of that later. So for now, it comes the fun part, which is to give him a little outfit. Now, I was racking my brain trying to figure out how I was going to make him an outfit that would be easy to remove, because that's kind of the point, right? Is to have an outfit where I can take it on and off easily in order to replace it with whatever season we're in. And I was thinking of trying to do a cardigan and how I was going to be able to do that in a way that it was going to be easily removable. Because trying to make a cardigan or a sweater or whatever for a plushie, I mean, they're not built like a human, so it's a little bit harder. It's not like I can just make him a hexagon cardigan. Could I make him a hexagon cardigan? I don't know. I just don't think that it would actually be proportional in a way that would work for a plushie. So I was racking my brain trying to figure out what I was going to do. And then I saw this hair bandana and I thought, actually, a little bandana would be perfect because I can easily take that on and off. So we are going to be making a little pride bandana. So unfortunately, I just didn't have one yarn that was really going to work for this project. I do have some rainbow yarn left over from when I made the lizards in that video where I was testing out different rainbow yarns, but none of those were striped, and I really want like a striped look. The only one that was striped was the Lion Brand one, and unfortunately that one didn't include purple, so I don't want to use that one. So what I did instead is just grab a bunch of random acrylic yarn from my stash, and we are just going to work with this. The only one I'm not so certain about is this orange. I feel like it's a little bit too close to the red, at least on camera. In person, there's a distinction. On camera, it blends in a little bit too much, but I just don't have another option for orange, so we're just gonna go for it. So I am going to make him a little triangle bandana just like this one, and we're gonna go from there. I made a mistake, you guys, which I realized that when I showed these parts of the video, I'm like, I could just cut this out and you would never know, but I forgot about the fact that when you make a granny triangle, it goes like the top color and then down and not the bottom color up. I don't know what I was thinking. So I started this in purple and I really should have started it in red and then gone down to purple. But I also realized that I don't know if I like this shade of blue. I think it's a little bit dark. I was looking at this and I was like, I kind of like this brighter blue. Also, do I want to just completely start over with this yarn right here, which is a cotton yarn? I think I have all of the colors of the rainbow in it. I was about to say, and cotton, of course, is perfect for the summer. The goose won't know the difference. He can't feel the difference between cotton and acrylic yarn, but I could. So if we maybe want to share the bandana, maybe I should make it in cotton yarn, and that way I can also wear it. I think we're onto something. So I think I am going to go ahead and pull out the thinner cotton yarn. It will take longer to make, but I think it's going to be worth it. And I'm going to start with the red and not with the purple. Doesn't she actually look cute with it on her head as a like headscarf as well? And I feel like I've gone back and forth between saying he and she about our goose here. Maybe they're gender fluid. I don't know their business. So as I am working on this, I am reminded of my friend Chris over at Naughty Bear, who does this similar type of concept as well, where he takes something that is not crochet and makes it crochet. And he recently did a crochet Labubu. And oh my goodness, I had seen Labubus floating around before his video, and I was just kind of like, I don't get it. I mean, they're like cute or whatever, but it's just kind of like meh. Like I don't care about ever owning one. And then I watched his video, and I'm not lying when I say his video made me want my own Labubu, and I don't know why. I thought I didn't ever think that they were like ugly necessarily. I thought they weren't for me. It was just like, that's just not a trend that's for me. But that's kind of how I am with trends. When things become really popular, I'm like, it's just not for me. And then sometimes I end up coming around on a trend similar to the Porch Goose here. And now I think I want a Labubu. And unfortunately, they are so popular right now that you can't find one anywhere. You can't just order one or go to the store and buy one. You have to go to the TikTok lives, and it's become this whole thing. Have you guys seen this? How do you feel about Labubus? I just feel like it's one of the most divisive trends I've ever seen, where people have gone from absolutely hating them to absolutely loving them. And I don't know what this phenomenon is. I think it needs to be studied. Now, I guess my only option is to make myself one because I can't just go buy one. Anyway, I'm going to keep working on this. I am loving the way that it's turning out now that I did it properly. And I realized that I was going to go with this color as the blue, but I don't have enough of that color left. We are going with this slightly darker shade of blue, or quite a bit darker shade of blue, but I do think that the way that these colors are working up, they go together really nicely. This is Catch 100% cotton, by the way. I love this yarn. I did used to work with Catch making their social media content for a little while, but we have parted ways for the time being anyway, but there was no bad blood. It was just a time constraint sort of a situation. But I still really like this yarn. Anyway, I'm going to finish this bandana, and then I think I can't decide if I'm going to make a hat or sunglasses. I don't know how I would get sunglasses to stay on because she or he or they do not have ears. So I don't know how I would make that work. So it might just end up making a hat. I think a bucket hat would be cute. I don't know. We will decide after I finish this bandana. Okay, so our Porch Goose and their absolutely fabulous Pride outfit is done, and I am so happy with how this turned out. And our Porch Goose definitely needs a name, so leave all of your suggestions in the comments down below. Now for my final thoughts on this project. First of all, this was supposed to be 23 inches since I was basing it on the original Porch Goose size. Well, this turned out to only be 19 inches, which honestly is not a big deal. Who really cares? But I'm just frustrated because I always have this problem. I ran into this a lot when I was making custom orders, especially if people wanted the larger sizes that I wasn't as used to making. I almost never could get it to the right size. For some reason, when I'm working something up, I think that it's going to end up a lot bigger than it actually ends up being in the end, which was a weird sentence that I just had to say. But I do not really care that it's a little bit smaller. I do think this comes in a couple of different sizes. I think the smaller size is 17 inches, if I'm not mistaken. So this is kind of right in between the two sizes, which, again, doesn't really matter, but just thought I would note. I also think, as I alluded to earlier, that I may have messed up on the proportions just a bit. I do think that the neck is just a little bit longer than I would like it to be, just a touch. But I don't think you can tell as much once this bandana is on, so that is good. But if I were to do this again, I would either make the neck a little bit smaller or the body just a little bit bigger, just to get those proportions where I want them. Now, the part that I'm still the most iffy on is the base. I already mentioned this, but I just don't think that it's going to be as sturdy in the long run as I want it to be. I wish that I would have started it off being quite a bit bigger than this. And I also could have put beads in there or something like that just to give the base a little bit more sturdiness. It's fine, it will stand up, but I'm afraid the wind is going to end up knocking our goose over, which is not great. So I do think that in the future, I may end up just reworking this entire bottom piece here just to make it a little bit more sturdy. But for now, I do think that it visually looks really cute. I have absolutely no notes on her outfit. I do think that both of the pieces turned out really, really cute. I might be stealing this to wear as a headscarf in the future. I will just have to add the ties on there, but that's not too hard to do. Unfortunately, this is just a touch too small for me to wear on my own head, but I think it's maybe the perfect size for my daughter, so she might be stealing this. We will see. I know that people will be asking, so the pattern for the bandana is just a granny triangle. You can just Google granny triangle, and there's a few different explanations of how to do this. And then with the headband, I just freehanded it. I wish I could explain this a little bit better, but essentially what I did, just to give the ends a little bit of a tapered look, I did 3 single crochets, 3 half double crochets, and then the whole middle section is double crochets. And then I went down to 3 half double crochets and 3 single crochets for the end, if that makes any sense. I'm happy that I ended up changing to this yarn because the colors are just so vibrant, so perfect. Also, another note on this project is I bought way too much yarn. I still have an entire white skein of the burnout blanket plus a little bit of that first skein. Plus I have a ton of the gold left over as well. So any suggestions with those colors would be great. And also give me all of your suggestions for what you want to see next in this series. So from me and my Porch Goose here, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, if you've made it to this part of the video, I want to know, what were you working on as you watched today's video? If you did like today's video, be sure to hit the like button. You can subscribe, stick around, let me know what other kind of videos you want to see next. You can join my Patreon where I make a bonus video as well as an exclusive pattern once a month. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.